Well. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Write Your Narrative, a weekly podcast where we are discussing everything street art related happening in South Florida. I'm your host, Pascal D from Token of the Wall. This week, my guest is my son, Maxence Doytier. Maxence is a community-minded art facilitator and curator based in Fort Lauderdale. He's the creator and the driving force behind AOTA, Avenue of the Arts, a week-long visual arts festival. With Maxence, we'll have a conversation about AOTA and the hard work and dedication he and his team had to do to have a successful visual arts festival. And yes, it takes a village. So, Maxence, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Daddy-O. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity to share my story. And ask away. What questions do you have?
Now, you've been involved for how long now in the art community? About 9 years?
It's been over 5 years now that I've owned my company, 26 North Productions. And, I was really inspired with everything that was going on in South Florida, from the Fort Lauderdale, the Fat Village Art Walks and Mass District, and everything that was blowing up in Wynwood and Miami, and all the different fairs and a lot of the shows that you produced down in Miami. There's just so much culture and life that really inspired me growing up in South Florida, that I was like, hey, let me start paving my own path and doing something unique in Broward and in Fort Lauderdale. And came up with the idea of 26 North Productions. And it's been a really exciting road and challenging and uplifting, and every day something new is happening, and new artists are reaching out, and new opportunities keep knocking on our door, and we're loving it. We're loving it.
Great. A couple of months ago, you wrap up a very successful street art festival called AOTA, AOTA, Avenue of the Art,
yes,
which is a visual art festival. This is really what I would like to discuss with you and share with our listeners today. It's all the struggles, all the hard work that you and your team to put into this festival, reaching out to the artists, welcoming the artists into to Florida, and then working with them and working with all the different partners. And it's not just about the artist.
Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects and that went into AOTA, AOTA, FEST, and I really have to give a tremendous shout out to everyone that played their role, played to make this happen. There was a lot of different moving parts. Year one for the festival, it was a 3-day fest. Year two, this past January, was a 7-day fest. Yeah, we challenged myself, we challenged my team to really create something unique for Fort Lauderdale. It just so happened that there's a street there called Avenue of the Arts. It's Northwest 7th. We didn't come up with it. It was called Avenue of the Arts in 1994, 1995. It was renamed by the city. It starts where the Broward Performing Arts Center is at. And that kind of became the heart, the pulse of the vision for the festival. Shout out to Gleason and Galera Collective. I remember me and him were driving around and taking a look at all the different buildings and walls and what we can do. And through my relationships and my passion, you knock on doors and you meet people and you meet the community. And I ended up meeting a bunch of the locals that lived in the western part of Flagler Village, and a lot of these blue collar industrial warehouses that had a bunch of businesses that whatever those businesses were doing, they needed some love. And I went in and was like, hey, if there's an opportunity for us to come in and paint, we're just seeking permission. I'd love to paint some of these walls. So yeah, year one, we painted 4 buildings, which was a tremendous success. We had a bunch of mixed fine art and graffiti and street art, and just a little bit of everybody that came out and like threw down and blessed year one for us. We're super, super grateful. We had MSG crew that did a couple of different tribute walls, RDEC, and Ripes and Buns and Chink threw down the biggest mural that we had for the fest, right on the Ave. We also had the Soul Into It duo. They came out and threw down on a huge wall for year one, which was incredible. It was incredible to start year one. Year two, we really challenged ourselves, as you mentioned. Year two, additional partnerships with arts and cultural organizations. We partnered up with Young at Art Museum. Shout out to Marie. Just incredible relationship. We ended up doing a pop-up at their Young at Art location at Broward Mall.
With Chink, I believe.
With Chink, yeah, we did a sweet event there. Chink Fondue, shout out to him. He painted both year one and year two for us. Year two, we blessed him with a huge wall that we let him, get creative, really do what he wants to do. Year two, in addition to painted murals, this is a visual arts festival, and I stress that. So every year, we're going to continue adding an additional new visual arts medium. Year one, we did murals. Year two, we did murals and chalk fest, chalk street artists. We had such a great time bringing in such talent, Tri-County, to come out and paint at New River Learning Center. It was a great venue, very family-friendly, kid-friendly, and it was a great way for the kids to see all the art firsthand, getting painted right in front of them.
I really like the way that you call the festival a visual art festival, bringing a new component, bringing something different every year. And of course, year two, like you just said, there was something new with the chalk art, which is something very popular, but not really well represented here in Florida, except up in Lake Worth, where they have chalk art festival that they've been doing for 30 years. So it's something very popular. Like you mentioned, AOTA is a community-oriented festival. So you are reaching out to the different communities here.
Yeah, as a visual arts festival, we are, of course, going to have mural artists participating, both local and international. We are going to continue having chalk artists represented, only because we saw just tremendous positive feedback from all the guests and all the families and all the visitors that came out. They were starting on a Saturday, they were finished by Sunday, and sadly, we got to pressure wash it, that evening, Sunday. That way, Monday, business starts over again. So it's something it's very temporary, but very appreciated the skills that these artists threw down. It was incredible. And then this next year, year three, in January 2025, we plan on introducing a new visual arts. And so,
probably
can I share?
Too early to tell us. Oh, well,
sure.
We maybe have a couple of options now.
I mean, we're dabbling, we're thinking. The team is already very excited. The challenges that were presented in year two, we're already looking at them for year three, what we can do. Task management, making sure that communication is effective, printing out maps in advance, run of shows, what to do, where to be at 7 a.m., at 8 a.m., at 9 a.m., at 10 a.m., at 11. Who are all the speakers? Where are all the artists located? How many artists are there? Saying no to artists. We started with 20 artists at one point, and then by the time the festival was happening 30 days in, we're like, hey man, we got some extra walls, we got some extra paint, let's just keep saying yes to artists. Shame on me. I was like, yo, yeah, come through, come paint, come through, yeah, let's make it happen, trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. But it ended up putting a lot more stress on my team, pressure washing walls, prepping walls, buffing walls, making sure that all of the new additional artists that we brought on 30 days out had a shout out on the social media page, also had all the materials that we covered, and I think those growing pains happen. I think there's just so much positivity that happens with a festival like this that it's hard to say no to everybody. You really want to just say yes, especially to the locals that, you love their style, you love their swag, that when they contribute, they're really going to do something incredible for the fest. And so, we're going to learn to say no a little bit more next year, but more organization and a new visual arts. There'll be a new visual arts that we're playing around with this third year. It'll be a little sneak peek we'll announce. AOTA Fest Year 3 will be AOTA Fest 3D. That's the way that we're going with it. So, define that how you may. That's the theme. There's so many super, super talented artists out there that when you tell them 3D, they're like, oh man, I can't wait to do anamorphic art. I can't wait to do 3D sculptures. I can't wait to do, graffiti on a wall that looks like you see the foreground, you see the background, but all of a sudden, like it merges. You've got so much talent out there. Insane 51 does his blues and his reds, and you wear the glasses. And a lot of artists also do hyper realism. And names need not be mentioned. We're reaching out to a lot of different artists at this moment, finding out both local and international who wants to say yes for year 3. I don't want to say too much. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, AOTA FEST. That's Avenue of the Arts Festival. And that's where you'll get to see a lot of the success that we had both year 1 and year 2.
Yeah, but just like you say, all that success came with the whole team. So who was your team this year? Because as we always say, it takes a village. I mean, this was a huge endeavor for you. Then this was a huge task. This was a year in making, year 1, then year 2, working on year 3 now. So who do you call your team? Who's your team?
Between pre-production, production, and post-production, there's so many different aspects. Pre-production is all the planning and the staging and the logistics and the sponsorships. Production includes on-site, everything hands-on to making sure that the event happens effortlessly. And then there's post-production as well, which is just gathering all the data and everything. Some of my team members, shout out, we had Nick Barreria, who really helped out with email marketing and marketing in the beginning of the festival. I'd say like 9 months to 6 months out, really helped up with strategizing and creating the website. Shout out to Steven Suede. Steven Suede with 4 agencies, 4 Quarters Agency helped out with rebranding. We actually rebranded year 2, which was huge for us, just to have a much more concrete look. We stuck to the primary colors, red, yellow, blue for this fest, which really just elevated the festival in general. Shout out to Renee Escobar with Sparkle Media, who really took the reins when Nick left and said, hey man, I really want to take on this challenge of marketing, which, marketing is such an important asset. Just because the artists come and paint, who knows that they're there, right? Who knows that they showed up? And so marketing is something that we're improving on. We had a lot of the partners and vendors and artists that I work with over the last 5-6 years with 26 North. I called them and I said, hey, this is an opportunity for us to work together again. This is something that we're building for the community. Do you have interest in participating? And everybody said yes with a smile, which was great. Big kudos to Space Monkeys. Carlos as well came out. Carlos has been rocking with 26 North for several years now. Danny as well with 26 North came out to help out with our Kids Art Day. And, just super, super grateful of everybody. We had so many great volunteers that helped out with check-in. We had so many volunteers that helped out with water distribution. We had great relationships with art organizations that were posting on social media. We had a lot of artists as well that were excited about the festival, that were, promoting the fest and inviting friends and family. We had a lot of great talent as well. A lot of just great mural artists this year. A lot of artists that I've rocked with in the past years, and a lot of new faces as well that I've never worked with, but I've just always really respected what they do. Their full-time career. They travel across the country doing what they do best. Shout out to Jax from North Carolina. Shout out to Naron, Nico, who crushed it from France. I had Seni as well from Paris that came. We flew in Graffiti Egypt from Arizona. I used to rock with her when she was in St. Pete in Florida. And shout out to you, Dad. You really helped out with Chalk Fest this year in Chalk Zone. This was a first for me, and it was a great opportunity to share kind of a new medium with everybody. And we had 15 chalk artists.
Yeah, this was quite an incredible weekend that we had, sharing with so many people, so many families, so many kids. Everybody had so much fun. This was just incredible to share that with the kids and the family, to see some live art happening right in front of their own eyes. I mean, we had some really, really, really talented artists this year.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in quality over quantity, and I believe the quality that we brought year 2, I feel like we're growing in puppy years. Like, it might have been year 2, but I felt like it was year 7 with the quality that we brought in. And so, I mean, big things are coming for year 3. I already can feel it. There's a smell in the air. There's a sense in the air, kind of like the quiet before the storm. I feel like I'm already ready. And what month are we in now? I mean,
we're few months away from it. Yes,
we're early, but it's never too early to plan success. And just having a great team this past year. Also excited a lot of other people that were like, hey, how can I get involved? We had a lot of graphic designers from Fort Lauderdale that came to our events, and they're like, hey, how can we help out with this event? We had a lot of photographers and drone pilots that saw us on social media, and they were like, yo, we'd love to take some photos for you. And shout out to Paul Henry as well. He came out year 1 and year 2. Paul Henry is a retired photographer who, I think he picked up photography when he was retired, but honestly, year 1 he came out and took a bunch of photos for the fest. Year 2 he did the same. And that's what building community is about. We don't, we really want people with a good heart to come out and enjoy themselves, experience the festival, get to meet all the artists that are participating. Shout out to everybody who came out and volunteered. We're excited.
Definitely. This was a very, very successful week. A lot of activities going on. Some talk also at the university, introducing people to different aspects of the art scene. What needs to be done. There's so many pieces from the puzzle, so many things that need to be involved into making something as big as AOTA happening, launching it to 2025 now.
We're already starting to plan 2025 and 2026 simultaneously. You mentioned both positives and negatives. What we derived is, or what we really thought was important, was asking all the artists that participated their feedback. So year 1, Carlos Solano painted our official AOTA mural, or AOTA mural. We had Lushy that painted a mural both year 1. That was a sponsored mural. She ended up painting a chalk art for us year 2. We asked a lot of these artists, like, hey, what's your feedback on the fest? And one of them, the feedback was, hey, we paint murals throughout the year. What's so different about this festival that we're painting murals, but what makes this festival unique? Is there any way that we can get a little bit more spotlight? And I was like, how do I make sure that these artists that are participating get more? And I was thinking about it, and I said, yeah, let's make it happen. So we ended up hosting panel discussions at Broward College. We hosted 4 of them. These panel discussions invited leaders of the community as well as artists to participate and share the bridge, the gap of art and business, and how we can all help each other to grow and expand our portfolios and work together to really do something that, creates a wow factor. So the panel discussions were something new that we had the second year. Another artist also gave us feedback, and they were like, well, we did murals. We got a lot of photos of the murals, progress shots, final shots, but what else can we do to really elevate the artists and give voice to the artists that are participating? And I was like, voice, how do I get voice to the murals? How do I give them a little bit more shout out to these artists? And I was like, all right, let's come up with a magazine. Let's print a magazine and work with a media company that'll write like one-on-one stories about the artists that are participating. And so this year, shout out to Rebecca with Article Mag. She did such an incredible job highlighting and captivating, a dozen artists in the magazine that all participated in the festival, both year 1 and year 2 artists. So, Yeah, there were a lot of things that we could have done better, but in the end, I think it really was such a great success year too. I mean, we're growing in puppy years, like we're growing so fast. And shout out to all the mentors out there that are crushing it. We invited Allie Grimes from Denver. She's the director of Denver Walls. We really want to get like feedbacks from other curators and be like, yo, how can we improve? And so, I'm a big believer in community. I'm a big believer that nothing is built overnight. And so we're growing.
It's definitely something beautiful to see. And as a dad, once again, I'm very, very proud of it. Definitely. Something new, all the partnership, all the different strings that you pull from everybody. I mean, doing a festival like this, it really takes a village. I mean, this is everybody that that anybody that can bring something to the scene, bring something. And once again, it's for the community that we're doing this, that you are doing this. So this is something very, very important. You have an incredible drive to do this. I think that's what it takes at first. It is a huge undertaker, definitely huge.
Work. I one of my mentors once told me, like, you don't do everything overnight, and so it's kind of like that. Maybe you've seen those competitions in the Arctic or Canada. They have a huge ice block, and all of a sudden, like, they start chipping away at this ice block. And I felt like that every single day as I was planning year 2, is every day, just making the festival 1% better, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. And eventually you keep chipping away at that ice block and it becomes a beautiful swan, right? It becomes just this beautiful animal that you're just sort of beautiful object or subject or whatever it may be. And, by the end of it, by the time the festival came around, I was like, I felt pretty accomplished. I really did. I was like, I did everything I could to make this happen. And, I couldn't do it by myself. A great team. Pops, you were out there helping out as well. You were giving out water bottles to all the artists. Shout out to Liquid Death as well for throwing us an incredible donation of water for us. We had a great, hydration station. We had all the artists that were helping. We had space that was helping out and making sure all the artists had everything that they needed to prep their walls, to prime their walls. Mechanical lifts had gas. Mechanical lifts had, the keys to make sure that they were riding in the morning. It was a lot of little details, but I think we did great.
I think we did absolutely awesome. And partnering also with the Uncommon Path Brewery was also something pretty unique, pretty different.
That was another collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the 9th inning. I'll be honest with you. I think it was one of those where I knew we were going to partner with Uncommon Path, and they were excited to come up with a custom beer, but the turnaround was tight. And they were like, well, we could do a custom beer, but we can't do custom bottles. We can only do a beer flavor. And then you came to the table and you were like, no. We're going to do custom beer bottles. We're going to do a limited release. We're going to do a vinyl on it. We're going to do a little, what's it called? Like
the label.
Like a label on it.
Yes.
A custom label that was a AOTA Uncommon Path.
All of the above.
All of the above. You came up with a name too. Yeah, shout out to the name. It's, so I think like that creativity, that spark is what we love about this festival. Is it can't just be me that's the driving force. It can't be me as just the director. Everybody's opinion, everybody's feedback is so important to this, from the artists that participated to the arts and cultural organizations that volunteered, to the volunteers that we signed service hours for, to the venues that gave us their parking lot, to the city of Fort Lauderdale that donated cones and came out with horses. We really, to the county as well that came out.
Yes, also the brewery was in a quite special location in Fort Lauderdale, being at the new Thrive.
Thrive Arts District. It's going to be the new arts district in Fort Lauderdale. There's so much development that's happening. And so Jonathan Fish is doing a great job with starting the Art Walk series at Thrive. And so Uncommon Path was the first tenant in the Thrive Arts District, if I believe. And so, considering they're the first ones there, a lot of the artists needed a place to hang out. They needed a place to chill out, use their Wi-Fi on their computers, place to eat, drink a beer, do something local. And so a lot of the murals that were painted in Avenue of the Arts were very close in proximity to that brewery. And so, Josh and Marcos, they took care of us. They really, really took care of us. And it's always great seeing them again and stopping by throughout the year and just bringing my laptop and doing some work at their spot and just building the community organically. It's tremendous how much impact I've had with my company, 26 North. I've commissioned over 100 murals now. 26 North has been incredible with, producing so much talent, but I've never really taken credit for anything that I've done. It's always been forward facing with the artists that did the job. They sign off their name. 26 North is just kind of behind the scenes. But with the festival, I was like, no, man, festival deserves all the credit it can to really bring it all together, because it wasn't done overnight. And it didn't take a week or a couple months. It took many weeks and many months, and it took a team. And so shout out to the fest. We're growing, and we have a lot of support from the city level, the county level, the commissioners. And let's see what happens.
Yes.
AOTA Fest 3D. Let's go. Let's
go. Also, something that was really, really cool to watch. I witnessed Golden painting a face in a fence in a school. So this was also another community project. Very, very close to the children. Partnering with that school, that little private school, was just incredible. And the result is out there. It's just for everybody to see every day when the people drive by that little school. This is quite something special. If you want to talk about it.
Yeah, you keep bringing up these incredible points. I surprised myself. I forgot a lot of the great things that we did. That was another great project, a great little case study. We had a gifted middle school that reached out to us and said, hey, we have this, white fence. Is there any opportunity? It's going to be a garden for the community, an urban garden. Is there any opportunity that we could paint it? And, I had Golden 305. I've been such a fan of his work for such a long time. His characters, I've never actually met him, and he's a Miami legend. And I've never actually met him. And it was one of those where everything that I was told and taught and seen on social, like meeting him in person, I was like, wow, this guy is the fucking man. And it was one of those, excuse my French, it was one of those that he did an incredible job leading a school of 20 students and all painted, 20 plus students that all painted this wall. And, he finished off and he outlined everything, but he numbered everything where all the kids were going to paint. And he
read paint by number project.
So, yeah, we engaged a middle school. We engaged a brewery. We engaged Broward College. We engaged the nursery for the chalk zone. We had this magazine this year. We did everything, man. We did everything. It's so hard to post on social media everything that we did and let everybody know what we did. We're trying to figure out how to deliver that message, that communication effectively still to this day. Post-production, shout out to all the photographers and videographers out there, because that is a lot of work to take a photo, edit it, make it look right, go through 3,000 photos, go from 3,000 to 1,000 to 300 and be like, these are the best 300 photos for you to use. That stuff, my goodness.
And at the end, you got to be posting only 3 photos.
We're still going through all the photos and all the content that everybody posted. We still haven't posted any of the videos yet from the fest. That's, where there's a gap, there's a need. Where there's a gap, there's a solution. I'm a big problem solution kind of guy. And so next year, we understand that we're going to be, appointing a director of videography and a director of photography to make sure that we're getting all the shots of all these moments, of all the products, of all the in-kind donations, of all the progress shots, of all the final shots. We want to make sure that we're getting all the photos. That way there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody, we have their final shot. Videography as well. We have so much B-roll. Shout out to Ethan, our videographer. I've known him for several years now. I met him at a late night bar. We were playing pool together at like 2 a.m. And he's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, dude, I do public art. And he's like, what do you do? He's like, I do videography. if you ever need a videographer, let me know. And dude, you can always use a videographer anywhere. And so I was like, yeah, man, I'll save your contact. I'll see if we can work together. And he rocked with us year one. He crushed it year two. I can't wait to post the videos that he chopped and screwed for us. So year two, we've got incredible videography that just got edited. Can't wait to post that. But we're going to make sure that we get a little bit more video content for year three.
So the team is going to grow, definitely. You need more help. You need more support and just to be more present in the social media, because I mean, this is such a huge thing right now. We cannot do anything without ignoring the social media, the presence, and then the way you can reach out to other people. Now, since you mentioned Ali, the Denver Festival, which is a very, very successful festival.
Denver Walls.
Yeah, the Denver Walls, yes.
Ali was such a blessing to work with. She really was. Ali understands the shoes that I wear during the festival, and being an event producer, Murphy's Law, right? Everything that you plan, bring an umbrella because it might rain, right? So, and I remember like Saturday morning, it rained on the chalk artist. I think it was Sunday morning, actually. It was the day.
The Sunday morning. It was just around an hour, very early.
Very early. But it's one of those, like, you plan an outdoor event, like, shoot, man, you better hope it doesn't rain, So shout out to Ali, a lot of the feedback that she gave back to the team, how we could be more organized, what are things that we can look for, what are things that we can do. I'm going to be flying the team out there in October. That way they can, get another firsthand experience of another festival that's not our own, and understand, how they do things, and kind of catch a vibe, and how many events they have, and, how to shout out the artists on social media, and how to put a plaque next to an artist's name. And there's just so many aspects to a festival. There's so many great festivals out there. You mentioned that there's a huge chalk festival as well. It's called Street Painters, I believe. That's in Lake Worth.
It's in Lake Worth. Yeah, they call themselves the street painters versus the street artist, which is more usually a reference to the muralist. They call themselves street painters, and definitely they've been doing that for years and years and years.
Yes, like what, 200 plus participated?
Yes. Oh no, they have 600 artists in Lake Worth. I mean, this is just incredible. But also, being in Fort Lauderdale in Broward County, you have a huge support from the city of Fort Lauderdale itself, which is something very crucial to bring a festival, to make something very attractive to the community, very present, very just like with the community. The Fort Lauderdale has been extremely supportive to you and this festival.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without the city. Mayor Dean Trentalis has been a big supporter of mine for many years. We have hosted multiple ribbon cuttings and mural unveilings in the public sector, both city public art projects as well as private public art projects. Mayor Dean, Steve Glassman have been there supporting. Philip Dunlap with the County Cultural Division as well has been a big supporter of mine and my growth. It takes a village. It takes a village to bring this all together. And we're so fortunate that we get to do something that is both a community-driven and cultural development, and really brings the talent of South Florida blended with the international artists that do this full time. It's great to elevate the locals, have them rock with other incredible artists and get to learn from them in the panel discussions. It's great for these international artists to come in and also fly and be in South Florida and see, like, hey man, I know this artist that lives in South Florida, and I've always wanted to do some art with that artist, and now they get to meet that artist. And so we've got some incredible talent in South Florida, a lot of great studios, a lot of great organizations, a lot of great galleries, a lot of great museums. And Broward is cute, man. Broward's cute. It's not like West Palm. It's not like Miami. Broward's cute. It really does its best to support the arts. Broward County is doing a great job. Philip Dunlap, when he took lead 6 years ago, Phil Dunlap with the County Cultural Division really took on an incredible leadership position. He came from a performing arts background. So you would think that there would be favoritism towards performing arts. No, man, no. He's been very supportive with the visual arts, very supportive with art and tech. There's an incredible festival as well the same week that we put on our festival called Ignite as well, that merges art and technology and digital art together and projection mapping. And Phil has been a great supporter of that as well. And so, there's great support for everybody at all levels, and we do our best.
So with all that said, we can definitely expect something like AOTA 2025 and something bigger and bigger, maybe a couple of days longer, or do you think a week is just like a right format maybe for a festival?
We're still figuring out the days and the times and the events and the run of shows and all that stuff, only because, if we extend the festival any longer, we need more manpower, we need more people, we need more venues, we need more funding. A 7-day fest is pretty awesome. So we're looking at that. We're looking at doing an artist masterclass where it's almost like a one-on-one intensive with an artist or two that we're flying in. It's an idea that Broward College had, versus a panel discussion with multiple artists. Instead, we're going to have one artist that we highlight. He'll teach the art students, his technique or her technique. That's something that we're looking into.
All right. So we are all waiting for the announcement on social media, and we're all going to be here present in 2025 in Fort Lauderdale for the next Avenue of the Art Visual Art Festival.
Avenue of the Arts Festival, the last weekend of January, a visual arts festival. We're going to be introducing so much great talent year in and year out. We're talking about so many great things at Sandcastle, beach events. We're talking about, yarn bombing. We're talking about, paper mache and wheat paste artists. We're talking about, how do we engage, more of a sustainability and environmental track. There's so many great talent out there, sculpture artists, 3D artists. Like I mentioned, we're planning 2025, but we're also planning 2026. What do we really want to do the next couple of years? So a lot of great planning, a great team, and delighted to be on this podcast to share our successes, and our little downfalls, but excited to share it all.
All right. So as this is becoming a little tradition now in the podcast, I would like to finish with a little quote, and it's something maybe that's going to be bringing memories to you. If I read it to you, just tell me what you think about it. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss it, you will land among the stars. Is that something that resonates to you?
Yeah, I love that quote. Mom had that quote in her art class when she was an art teacher at Mirror Lake Elementary School. And that was always something that, mom always inspired the students. And it's a great quote. It's a great quote that everybody should live by. Is just, what you think you can do, you can always aim higher and always elevate yourself and surround yourself with good people.
And then wherever you land, well, there's always going to be something around you positive. I think we really have to start to finish this podcast on a very, very positive note. What you're doing is incredibly positive and rewarding for the community. And I'm sure you have a good sense of a pride in yourself into this.
I sleep good at night.
All right. Well, we're going to finish with these beautiful words. Have a good night, everyone, or have a good day, and we'll see you pretty soon, probably next week. We will see you next week, definitely, on Write Your Narrative. This was Maxence Doytier from 26 North Production with the little story of the AOTA Fest in Fort Lauderdale. We all got to be waiting a few months and see what you and your team are going to bring us next year. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Please follow AOTA Fest on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for listening to Write Your Narrative podcast. Follow me and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. Next week, I will be talking about the importance of cultivating and nurturing artistic talents in children. with a gifted 12-year-old cartoonist and digital artist and his father. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you then.